Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Money Café America, the podcast for practical money talk without the shame.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Maya. Let's take a deep breath and look at those overdue bills together.
I might need a second cup of coffee before we do that.
Is the caffeine not working yet today?
I am just tired. Honestly, the mail on my kitchen counter feels actively hostile right now.
I know that feeling. You see a certain return address, and your stomach drops.
Exactly. When I know I am behind on a bill, I freeze. I just keep walking past the unopened envelopes.
Because opening them makes the past due balance real.
Yes, I avoid the stack because I do not know which one to pay first.
Avoiding the mail is a normal reaction to fear. It does not mean you are failing at life.
It feels like failing when the late fees keep getting added to the total.
We can slow this down. Every situation is unique, and sometimes people need local help to sort it out.
I just want to know how to stop the panic when my checking account is low.
We will walk through a simple decision model today. It helps you prioritize that stack of mail safely.
Okay, I need a way to decide without feeling completely guilty.
You will have one. We will also look at exactly what to say to the company if you call.
That helps. Honestly, picking up the phone is the hardest part.
By the end of this conversation, you will know your exact next step.
Just knowing the first step would make my kitchen counter look a lot less scary.
That unopened stack of mail on the kitchen counter is overwhelming because everything is shouting at once.
Yes, every envelope looks like an emergency.
When everything feels like an emergency, people usually freeze.
Or I just pay the one that has the brightest red ink on it.
That is exactly what happens. We treat our bills like a crowded room where everyone is yelling.
Okay, so how do I make them quiet down?
Think about a hospital emergency room. They use a triage desk.
Right, they do not treat paper cuts before broken bones.
Exactly. They sort the injuries by survival first. Your bills need a triage desk.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
The plain money rule is to secure your survival before paying your past decisions.
Survival meaning rent and groceries?
Yes, we call it securing the four walls. That means housing, food, basic utilities, and transportation to work.
That feels much smaller than trying to pay 12 different companies today.
It is. Share this episode with someone who is quietly stressed about their bills.
I know people who definitely need to hear that too.
Here is the common mistake people make when they fall behind.
Let me guess, we panic and pay the wrong thing?
We pay the loudest bill instead of the most important one.
If a credit card company calls, I usually panic and pay them.
You pay a credit card minimum because their email looked angry.
Meanwhile, the electric bill sits quietly, getting dangerously close to shut-off.
That is the trap. Credit cards are unsecured debt. They will complain loudly, but they cannot evict you.
Wait, so I am allowed to let them complain?
You are not ignoring them forever. You are simply putting them in the waiting room.
That goes against everything I was taught about being responsible.
Being responsible means keeping a roof over your head. The hospital never apologizes for making minor injuries wait.
Okay, so housing and food go straight back to an exam room.
Yes. If you do not have a safe place to sleep or food to eat, nothing else works.
What about a car loan? Is that part of the four walls?
Only if you need the car to keep your job. If you do, that is survival.
Because without the job, no other bills get paid anyway.
Exactly. So the car payment gets a priority ticket. The medical bill from last year does not.
Even if the medical billing office keeps sending me letters?
Especially then. Collectors are trained to create a false sense of urgency.
They really do. They make it sound like the police are on the way.
That pressure is a tactic. It makes you hand over rent money just to make the phone quiet.
I hear that. I have definitely drained my checking account just to stop the stress.
Then you have no grocery money left. We are stopping that today.
So the four walls act like a shield against that panic.
They do. But I know this still comes with fear.
Won't my credit score drop if my cards go into the waiting room?
It might take a temporary hit, but a lower credit score is easier to fix than an eviction.
It still feels scary to watch a score drop.
I hear that. We are simply choosing the safest damage.
A late fee stings, but losing my apartment is a real crisis.
You are protecting your stability. Perfection is not the goal when you are behind.
So my kitchen counter triage desk only looks for those four walls today.
That is exactly right. Everything else gets a number and sits down.
Honestly, that makes opening those envelopes today feel way more manageable.
That hospital triage idea helps when the phone starts ringing right before you walk into work.
You mean the unknown numbers that start calling at 8?
Yes. You are sitting in the car, looking at the screen, and your chest gets tight.
It ruins the day before my shift even starts.
The natural instinct is to answer and make a payment promise to stop the ringing.
I have done that. I gave them $50 that I actually needed for groceries.
That is the mistake the triage desk prevents. The credit card is not a four-wall emergency.
But the person on the phone makes it sound like an absolute disaster.
They are doing their job, which is to sound urgent. But your electric bill is more important.
So I take the grocery money and make sure the lights stay on first.
Exactly. The lights keep your food cold and your home safe.
Okay, but what happens when the credit card company keeps calling?
You have a choice. You can politely tell them you cannot pay right now.
Or I can just let it go to voicemail?
You can. If you are protecting your basic survival, you do not have to answer every call.
That feels rebellious, but it also makes me feel guilty.
Guilt is normal, but giving them your utility money does not fix the problem.
No, it just means I am sitting in the dark.
Right. The limitation here is that ignoring the call does not erase the debt.
The balance is still growing. The late fees are still happening.
They are, but you will handle that later, once your basic living situation is stable.
I have to secure the walls first. Okay, that makes the phone feel slightly less terrifying.
Let's look at a different version.
Okay.
This happens late at night while staring at your apartment portal.
Oh, the rent portal. That screen has given me so much anxiety.
Imagine it is 3 days before rent is due, and you are short.
You only have 70% of the rent money in your checking account.
What does your panic instinct tell you to do?
Honestly, my instinct is to avoid the portal entirely because I cannot pay it all.
And what do you do with that money sitting in checking instead?
I might pay off a smaller personal loan just to feel like I accomplished something.
You pay a small bill completely, just to cross one thing off the list.
Yes, it feels like a tiny victory, even if I know rent is looming.
That tiny victory is dangerous. It leaves your most important wall unprotected.
Because the personal loan company cannot evict me, but the landlord can.
Exactly. Housing is your absolute first priority at the triage desk.
So I should not touch that money for anything else.
Right. The better move is to give the property manager exactly what you have for rent.
Even if it is only a partial payment?
Yes, and you communicate with them before the first of the month arrives.
I hate having that conversation. It feels so humiliating to admit I am short.
It is uncomfortable, but landlords often prefer early communication over total silence.
Silence makes it look like I am just running away from the problem.
Right. Tell them you are paying the partial amount now and explain your plan for the rest.
Will they still charge me a late fee for the missing amount?
They probably will. That is the realistic catch here.
So it does not fix everything magically.
No, but it shows good faith, and it keeps your housing money where it belongs.
That is definitely better than hiding and paying a random internet bill instead.
It keeps you focused on survival. You protect the roof over your head before anything else.
Okay, rent gets the very first dollar. That rule actually removes a lot of confusion.
There is one more place this triage desk becomes really important.
Let me guess. It involves checking the mailbox on a Saturday morning.
Exactly. You pull out a bright pink envelope that says final notice on the front.
Those envelopes are designed to cause instant panic. I hate them.
You open it, and it is a collection letter for an old hospital bill.
And it says I have to pay immediately or face serious consequences.
Meanwhile, your car payment is due in 3 days.
The car I drive to work every morning.
Right. Where does your panic tell you to send your money?
The pink envelope. The wording is so aggressive, I just want it to go away.
You want to pay the medical bill because the threat feels the loudest.
Yes, the car loan portal never sends me hot pink letters.
But think about the 4 walls. Transportation to work is a wall.
If I lose my car, I cannot get to my shift.
And if you miss your shifts, your income stops completely.
Which means the rent definitely does not get paid next month.
Exactly. The old medical bill is unsecured debt. The car is secured debt.
Meaning, they can actually come and take the car away if I stop paying.
Yes, the medical billing office cannot take your car.
But they make it sound like they can take everything I own.
That is why the letter is pink. It is a psychological tool.
So I have to ignore the scary letter and pay the quiet car loan instead?
You prioritize the car loan because it protects your ability to earn money.
Okay, but what do I do about that collection letter? I cannot just burn it.
No, you should not burn it. Here is a concrete action you can try within 24 hours.
I am ready. Give me something small I can actually do today.
Pick up the phone, call the billing office, and simply say you cannot pay right now.
Just tell them the truth?
Yes, and ask if they have a hardship program or if they can pause collections.
Wait, you can just ask them to pause it?
Many medical billing departments have hardship options, but you have to ask for them plainly.
What if they say no? What if they demand the money anyway?
Then you respectfully end the call. You still prioritize your car payment.
Because the car gets me to work. The medical bill does not.
That is the rule. The limitation is that dealing with collectors is emotionally exhausting.
It really is. It takes a lot of energy to say no to someone demanding money.
It takes practice, but knowing your priorities gives you permission to say no safely.
It feels like I have a valid excuse now. I am protecting my job.
You are protecting your stability. You do not have to apologize for keeping your job secure.
Sometimes people freeze because they think they need the perfect script for that call.
You do not have to provide your entire financial life story on the phone.
So I just keep it brief. I say I am experiencing a hardship right now.
Keep it brief and calm. You are just gathering information about your options.
Okay, that feels doable. It is just a question, not a massive commitment.
Right. The triage desk keeps your focus narrow so you do not get overwhelmed.
I still do not love the idea of being behind, but this stops the spinning.
You cannot fix everything in one afternoon. We are just stopping the spin today.
I can handle stopping the spin. I feel more prepared for the mail now.
We just looked at the phone ringing in your car. We talked about the rent portal and that bright pink envelope.
Yeah, that's a lot of stress for one normal week.
It is. But you kept your housing and your transportation safe through all of it.
Which honestly feels like a major win when everything else is chaotic.
Let's test that instinct. Imagine you have exactly $150 left in your checking account today.
Okay, that's a very realistic number for me.
The water company sent a shut-off notice for tomorrow. A credit card company wants their minimum payment today.
Where does the money go?
Tell me your first thought when you look at those two bills.
Well, I need water to live, so I would pay the water bill first.
Good. That's the survival wall.
But then I would probably send whatever is left to the credit card.
Why would you do that?
I just don't want them to lower my credit limit. I worry about that.
Protecting the water is exactly the right move. That keeps your home livable.
But you are going to tell me the second part is a trap, right?
It is. That leftover money needs to stay in your checking account if rent is due next week.
Because the credit card company isn't going to pay my landlord for me.
Exactly. You split your resources out of fear, and that weakens your four walls.
I mean, it's hard to know who can actually hurt me. Some companies are just making noise.
That's the perfect way to phrase it. This comes down to understanding secured debt.
I've heard that phrase. I usually just nod and pretend I know what it means.
Secured debt is a loan that is tied to a specific physical item you own.
Like my car. They drive a tow truck to my house if I miss the payments.
Right. The car is the security for the loan. They reclaim the physical item if you stop paying them.
So the item is basically a hostage until the very last payment clears.
That's a very real way to think about it.
Why does this matter for the triage desk?
It matters because those bills demand immediate priority in your survival budget when money is tight.
Okay, if the loan has a physical hostage, I pay it. What about the loud ones?
The loud ones are usually unsecured debt.
So there's nothing physical tying me to the loan at all?
Correct. Unsecured debt is money borrowed based only on your promise to pay it back.
That sounds like credit cards. I bought dinner and gas, but they can't repossess my digestion.
Hahaha, exactly. Medical bills and personal loans are also unsecured debts.
They can't take my apartment, but they sure send a lot of aggressive mail.
They do. They don't have a physical item to take.
So what's their leverage?
Their only leverage is your fear and your credit score dropping.
So they just yell louder, hoping I get scared enough to send my rent money immediately.
Yes, that's why understanding the term matters for your stress levels.
I have to know who is holding a hostage and who is just holding a megaphone.
That metaphor really helps.
But what do I actually say to the megaphone person when I pick up the phone?
You tell the truth, and you ask if they have a hardship program.
A hardship program? Is that a secret code word?
It isn't a secret, but companies rarely advertise it on the front page.
Of course they don't. What does it actually do for me?
A hardship program is a temporary official agreement to lower or pause your payments.
So it's like hitting a formal pause button so I can actually breathe.
Yes. For example, a hospital might freeze your account for 60 days without sending it to collections.
Or a credit card company might temporarily lower the interest rate?
Exactly. It matters because it changes the conversation from a pure demand into a structured pause.
But I have to be brave enough to actually make the call and say the words.
You do. Knowing the term gives you a specific tool instead of just calling to apologize.
That's a huge difference. I'm not calling to beg. I'm asking for a specific program.
It changes the entire power dynamic. You are managing your situation actively.
It makes me feel like a responsible adult, even if I'm behind on the actual bill.
Being a responsible adult means facing the reality, not just having a perfect bank account.
Oof, I needed to hear that. The shame is usually heavier than the actual math.
That's why we strip the shame away. The math is just math.
Okay, I have the vocabulary now. Secured debt, unsecured debt, and hardship program.
You are separating the noise from the actual danger. That's the whole point.
Knowing the difference gives me a clear filter for my mailbox. It feels a lot less chaotic now.
Let's test this filter with one more envelope from that kitchen counter.
Bring it on. I am ready for the final test.
You open an urgent notice from a Buy Now, Pay Later app.
Oh, I know those. They send a lot of push notifications to your phone.
They say your account is past due for that new laptop you bought.
Okay, well, the laptop is not my apartment and it is not food.
Good.
It also is not basic transportation to work.
Right. So where does it go in the triage desk?
It goes straight to the waiting room. It is unsecured debt.
Wait, let me think about that specific item for a second.
Did I fail the test? They cannot repossess a laptop, can they?
Usually they cannot. But do you use that laptop for your actual job?
Oh, I work remotely 3 days a week.
So you need it to log in and do your daily tasks.
Yes, I do. Without it, I cannot work at all.
If you lose access to the computer, do you lose your income?
I absolutely do. My boss would not accept silence as an excuse.
Exactly. So what is the laptop in this specific situation?
It is part of my four walls. It protects my paycheck directly.
Yes. It becomes just as important as your car payment.
So I pay that app before I pay an old medical bill.
You do, because protecting your income is always the ultimate priority.
That is an interesting trick. The item itself does not matter.
The function of the item is what matters. Does it keep you employed?
If the answer is yes, it gets the money first.
How would you use this triage idea tomorrow morning?
Honestly, I would clear my kitchen counter completely.
Tell me more about that physical process.
I would take a thick black marker and draw a line on every single envelope.
That is a very clear visual system.
If it is rent, food, power, or my car, I write a giant number 1.
What happens to the other envelopes?
If it is a credit card or an old hospital bill, it gets a number 2.
And the number 2s stay in a drawer until the ones are totally safe.
Exactly. That way I do not panic and mix up the money.
We can turn that into a simple action plan for anyone listening right now.
I like simple. I need to know my exact first move.
First, physically separate your bills into 2 piles on a table.
The survival pile and the waiting room pile.
Yes. Put the waiting room pile completely out of sight for an hour.
Oh, I like that. Put them in a drawer so they stop shouting at me.
Exactly. Second, calculate exactly what you need for that survival pile this week.
Just add up the rent, the groceries, the power, and the gas money.
Right. You need to know the exact minimum dollar amount to survive the week.
What if my checking account still does not cover that survival number?
That leads to step 3. If you cannot pay a survival bill, call them immediately.
Do not hide from the landlord or the power company.
Exactly. You tell them what you can pay and ask for a hardship pause.
You use that vocabulary we learned to change the power dynamic.
You handle the crisis actively instead of freezing in the dark.
That plan actually makes me want to open my mail today.
Keep that momentum going. Which bill usually triggers the most panic for you?
That is a great question for the comments.
Share your answer so someone else knows they are not alone.
You can write one word. Just say medical, credit, car, or rent.
The shame starts to disappear when we name the fear out loud.
And the fear shrinks when you know what to protect first.
You secure your stability. The rest can wait in line.
I feel like I finally have a shield against that panic.
If you answer that comment question, just keep it simple.
There is no need to carry that stress completely alone.
That is exactly why we have these conversations.
Remember to physically separate those envelopes before you try to pay anything.
Finding your survival bills first gives you a clear plan.
It stops the panic of feeling like you have to fix everything today.
Being behind on a balance does not mean you are stuck forever.
It just means you need to protect your housing and food first.
Thanks for sitting with us at Money Café America today.
I feel a lot better about checking my own mail now.
You have a solid next step. I'm Maya, and take care.
And I'm Ethan. Bye, and take it one envelope at a time.